The diversity party that Colombia has been enjoying for years has also put it in a privileged position in the world as far as wildlife is concerned. Today we will talk about this, the wildlife in Colombia. Colombia, a mega-diverse country. Although there are no detailed and complete biological inventories for the whole country, it is known that at species level Colombia is considered as the fourth nation in world biodiversity, being by taxonomic group the second in biodiversity at plant level, first in amphibians and birds, third in reptiles and fifth in mammals. In Colombia, wild fauna is understood as the set of terrestrial or aquatic animals whose origin and evolution is found in the national territory and that have not been subject to domestication, genetic improvement, breeding and regular raising, or that have returned to their wild state. Furthermore, and needless to say, they are living beings that are born, breathe, feed, grow, reproduce and die. In this sense, it is clear that wild species have not been manipulated from a reproductive and zootechnical selection point of view in order to ensure that their progeny exhibit certain characteristics that benefit man in terms of greater productivity. One of the most outstanding characteristics of wild animals is that their evolutionary development occurred and has been occurring without direct human intervention. That is, humans do not intervene in aspects related to the adaptations of these species to the geographic and climatological conditions of the regions where they live. Wild animals have their life cycle in natural geographic areas, where they have adapted to the different characteristics that the niches offer them and where they also find all the necessary elements to supply their energetic, physiological, metabolic and reproductive needs. The reproduction of wild animals is conditioned by natural selection and the innate search for the preservation of the species, through greater success in individual or family group survival and reproduction. The immune system of wild animals is innately acquired from the genetic information of the parents and experiences in their natural environment, and is not conditioned to the stimulus offered by humans, as in the case of domestic animals that need to be immunized through the application of vaccines. Another aspect that allows us to identify wild animals is their natural behavior that offers a reaction to external or internal stimuli. This is conditioned by an innate or genetic component and one learned or experienced from their own species according to the characteristics of their environment. Of course, none of these is mediated by man, as in the case of domestic animals. Wild animals present behaviors of fear and reaction to the presence of potential predators and human beings. This behavior has disappeared in domestic animals because the selection processes carried out by man seek primarily to generate docile breeds that become accustomed to and dependent on contact with man. Although there are individuals of wild species that have adapted to coexist in human settlements, after the colonization and urbanization of natural areas, the survival of these wild animals is not mediated by man. In short, wild animals are not pets. Wild animals are an integral part of the areas they inhabit and help maintain the overall ecological balance of their own region. The food base of man comes from these ecosystems, fossil fuels are byproducts of it. Water and air are linked to natural cycles associated with it. The productive capacity of soils depends on their biological diversity and many other environmental services on which depends the survival not only of man but of the ecosystems themselves. Of course, the sudden disappearance of some wild species produces alterations that are generally irrecoverable, and therefore their environmental services. Different animal species are necessary for the pollination processes of plants and others are necessary for seed dispersal due to the interactions they have with plants of different levels. So wild animals play definitive roles, both in the renewal of plants and in the ecological succession of ecosystems. Animals have accompanied the development of human populations over the years, and are part of their daily life. But in the particular case of wild animals, their presence goes beyond mere accompaniment and is an essential part of their culture. Wildlife is found in various narrative, written, musical, artistic and aesthetic manifestations of different cultures, and has even been integrated into the worldview of different indigenous cultures that relate it to their way of understanding and interpreting their own nature. Finally, it is necessary to generate a change in the perception that only animals that generate obvious benefits are important. It is clear that the importance of wildlife goes beyond the value associated with the benefits obtained by humans from some species. Colombia is a country recognized worldwide for its great biological diversity, of which wild animal species are part. Due to its great extension and varied relief, it also presents an enormous diversity of environments, which together with its geographic location as a bridge between Central and South America, has resulted in a very diverse and complex flora and fauna. Spectacled bears is the flagship wild species of Colombia and is the only species of bear that inhabits South America, is vegetarian, diurnal habits and generally solitary, lives almost exclusively in the Andean rainforests. With annual rainfall above 1,000 cubic millimeters, although it is also found in paramos and semi-arid areas, whose rainfall is around 250 cubic millimeters, fulfills important ecological functions, such as seed disperser, predator and pollinator. It has been intensively nurtured by man, therefore, it is in danger of extinction. Any animal is considered endangered when its existence and reproduction cannot develop anywhere in the world. That is, it can never be seen again. This is generally due to the termination of a resource on which each and every species depends, either by human action, such as illegal hunting or massive logging, or simply by changes in their ecosystem, that are consequences of fortuitous events such as climate change. Sadly, Colombia is the 5th country in the world with the most endangered species. To know in order to conserve. We need to maintain the environmental balance for our own well-being. To be aware of the impact on nature of our daily lives, helps us to live in harmony with the diversity of fauna and flora in Colombia and the world.